Okay.
Or
Are
that.
you as excited as I am today?
Oh no, you're just a fraction as excited as I am.
Oh, oh, game on. I,
No, I doubt it. I don't know.
I'm going to enjoy working with you a lot. I think you're going to enjoy working
Oh,
with me as much or maybe even more. I like your
oh,
sense
I'm sure I'll enjoy. I'm sure I will enjoy you more than you will me. So,
of this is the thing I love about Amish guys, Amish men, is
oh,
they're very charming. Like
or
they
try to be, or what?
Yeah, no, they are charming compared to English guys, especially somebody like me, like who's a driver analytic. Like, I'm too direct to be charming. All right. So what we're going to start out with is let's go ahead and talk about what you'd like to accomplish in the next 90 days. Like, what would be your dream? Like, what would you like to accomplish in the next 90 days?
You're talking on the business, on the
Anything.
what I like.
Yeah, it could be your employees, it could be sales, it could be your marriage, it can be anything.
Oh,
And so Action Vision is a whole life plan. And
okay,
so let me give you kind of just there's there's short term and long term.
okay.
So there's short term. So in the next 90 days, at the end of 90 days, my goal is to go ahead and have you say, Mark, I'm glad you twisted my arm a little bit. Like I'm glad you pushed
A
me because
little bit.
did you have to see the chiropractor?
Yeah.
Um, but I'm glad you
uh,
did that, Mark, because I'm telling you honestly, all sincerity, like this is the best investment that I've ever made in myself and my business. That's our goal.
okay.
And so
All
And
right.
so there's short-term wins. There's short-term wins. It's kind of like with my kids when they were little and they'd come in and they'd have a sliver in their foot. And their
Okay.
mother would go ahead and be like, "Oh my goodness, you got a sliver and oh, let's take care of that." They liked her. Their dad, on the other hand, would be like, why'd you get a sliver? How are we going to prevent that from happening? Like, figure it out. You got yourself into this situation. But daddy, I'm only 2 years old. I know, but by two, you should know these things. Like, so my kids would say, if you want to feel good, if you want to feel good, um, go to mom.
Yeah.
And if you want to fix something, go to dad. So there's a whole Action Vision team. It's not just me. I tend to be maybe a little too direct with people, maybe a little too tough on people, and maybe push too much. So there'll be a whole team of people that will be working with you. It won't just be me. And um, so there's short term things that we like. If you don't get through the short term, there is no long term. So in business, we got to make it through the short term. But most business owners, as we shared in the business X-ray, they end up owning a job, not a company. And so there's systems, and these things are going to take some time to build. Like it's not going to be. This is not a quick fix overnight. We didn't get where we're at overnight. We're not going to change overnight. It's going to take some time. But we want to look at, what's bleeding right now. Let's stop the bleeding. And then let's figure out why is it bleeding? Well, how do we prevent that from happening in the future? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what would you like to accomplish from in any area of your life over the next 90 days?
So just in general on the business side,
Yep.
sales side,
Yep.
we're in a little slump right now as far as sales go.
Yep.
So I guess just increase in sales, I guess. But
Gotcha.
maybe that's too selfish for where we're at economy wise. I don't know, but
Yeah. See, in business, so we have 10 grandkids. We have 10 grandkids and two new ones, two newborns, And
Right.
so with a newborn, you don't find anybody when they when they're hungry and they're nursing, like nobody says, "You selfish little one." Nobody says that, right? I mean, nobody says, "You're a little one." Stop being selfish. So a business, you're not being selfish when you talk about sales. Sales is like, mother's milk. Like business
Yeah.
has to have it. Without it, you die. And so that's not
Yeah.
sales at all. Or
Okay.
that's not selfish at all. That's just that's just good. That's just being a good business. Now, there's a science to sales. Do you know how many leads you're getting on a monthly basis?
Okay, so here lately it's only been, oh, I don't know. I think I went over that with when we first called in the business X-ray thing. I think I was asked that question. I'm not exactly sure what my answer was on that
Yeah, that's
as
fine. What do
of
you think
right
it is
now.
now? Like,
You're asking the number of leads
yeah, the number of leads.
per month. So as of right now, just in the past 3 months, I would say around 30.
Okay, so about 10 a month, or,
Yeah.
or
Well, okay, 30. I should say 25 per month.
25 per month. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And how many of those actually convert into a sale?
Here lately, approximately 12 to 15.
Okay. So good work on that. The average sales closing ratio for most businesses is about 10%. So most businesses,
Okay.
would convert, between, 2 and 3 out of 25. You're at 12 to 15. So you're roughly at
Oh,
about 50% sales closing ratio. So that's really good. On the other hand, you're still not getting paid on 50% of them. So you can get that typically up to about 70 to 80% with systems and knowledge. So in
okay.
future coaching sessions, we'll talk about that on how you get the systems in place and the knowledge in place to fine tune your sales. Because if you can go ahead and convert, 2 to 3 more out of 10, you can go ahead and increase your business by 30 to 60% with no additional leads coming in. It's just so if you have a lead, if you have a look at a quality of a lead, if you have a lead that's an 8, on quality, so 10, 1 to 10, 10's the most, the highest. If you have a lead that's an 8, you only need sales skills or a system that are a 2 to convert it to a sale, if that makes sense.
Okay.
If you have a lead that's a 3 in quality, you need systems or skills of a 7 to convert it. So in this economy, it's getting tougher. And so you got to improve your sales systems and you have to improve your sales skills, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
So, so we'll work on doing that. So to do that, we're going to need to talk about your sales systems and your skills and those kind of stuff. And then we'll start to fine tune the systems. I'm impressed that you knew the numbers. So good work on that. Seriously, a lot of businesses don't. So that's good that you know it. So we'll look at what you're doing now, and then we'll look at what you could be doing to go ahead and improve that. So business and sales side, what else would you like to accomplish in the next 90 days?
On the financial part, I guess, be a little more, uh, know a little bit more of where I'm at on
Yeah.
the profit, to, the income side of it, to fine tune it quite a bit more, I guess.
Yeah. Do you get a weekly report on the finances?
Yes.
Okay.
Or well, I should say, I mean, I shouldn't say weekly, I guess, more like quarterly.
Yeah. So just can you get it weekly?
I can, but I don't know. Well, I can and I can't. I don't know. I got so quite a bit of her jobs overlap from one week to the next to the,
Yeah.
something. So I'm not.
Yeah,
unless you got some.
we'll show you how to do that because you need to know weekly.
Okay.
You need to you need to
Okay.
have a pulse of that weekly because quarterly, especially in this economy, man, you get into a lot of trouble if you don't have an idea of where you're at, weekly. Um, so you'll have at least three team members on your Action Vision coaching team, and so Marla, and then Elaine, and then Ginger Ann, and they're going to have experience in setting up some of those systems. So they might work with you beyond this call, or they might just take this call on a weekly basis and work through some of those things on that. But we'll definitely help you out there, and that's going to be really important. All right. What else would you
Yep.
like to accomplish in the next 90 days?
Oh, as of right now, that's probably it.
Okay. So what's one thing, like if I was talking with your wife and I said, "Hey, what would be one thing that would improve your marriage?" What would she say?
He'd do a little bit more work around the house,
Okay.
probably.
All right. And so there's challenges with that, right? Because
Seems
if
to
you're
be,
doing work around the house, it's hard for you to bring in more sales. It's hard, like you
yeah,
have you have conflict. I mean, you're not lazy. Are you lazy?
yeah. Oh, yeah. You bet.
Really?
Sure. I don't know.
So you can't be lazy, dude. Like you can't be lazy. You don't
Well,
want to
well, yeah, I can't be. I mean, I can't be. I shouldn't be, but at times I wonder.
see. This is the thing. Like I always had the impression that Amish were really hard workers, and they are, but they're not. Like it's weird. Like it's weird. So hard work, we think of, like my parents were two of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life, physically.
Uh-huh.
Relationally, maybe not as much. Mentally, somewhat. So we have hard work as it relates to emotional, relational, and all of that, physical. So there's spiritual, all of those things. And so like, do you know what? Well, is it okay if I bring up the spiritual in coach? If we bring up spiritual, or you prefer not?
Oh, yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you know what the number one thing that will that will solve laziness?
By working with your hands, I don't know.
Well, that's physical, but
Physical,
you have
okay.
relational laziness. Relational laziness is where we're not attentive to our wife or our kids or other people, our employees, or all of that kind of stuff. So the number one thing that will solve laziness in any area of life is going to be a fear of God. If
Hmm.
we're lazy, we don't have a fear of God.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because the fear of God is we're going to give an account someday. We are. And,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, when he says, "Hey, Willis, your, your marriage was a one," like, what's up with that, dude? Like, you know, I don't think he's gonna, well, you know what? No big deal. So wives love me. Like they just do because like it's really important. Now, often wives of business owners, they can be hard, they can expect things that are not fair. Like a husband cannot do everything. And so it's not a black and white, just work more, but it is. And so my experience with women, like if you ask your wife, like you give her, you give her you give her, I'm going to do an hour or two or whatever you're going to budget weekly to do work around the house. What's the ages of your kids again?
uh, 1 to 10.
Okay. So Oh, I was just really good at getting my kids to do the work. Like, you can work for dad's business or you can work around the house. Like the key is that like, and so it can be hard, it can be hard for a wife. Like it's exhausting working with the kids. It's like but dad typically, if you tell your kids to do something, do they listen?
Uh, Seemingly for some reason they kind of do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
that's
I
probably going to
definitely have
change.
struggles though.
It's probably going to change. It has for me. All my kids are adults, and I don't know that they listen to me now. Like I'm like, really? Like, but no. And so there's things that what we want to do is so there's systems actually in the marriage. So that I just have a heart for you. I have a heart for your wife. Like we want to get that up to a 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so I also put something down for employees. How many employees do you have?
7.
Okay. So we want to go ahead. And so as you get better with your employees, you're going to get better with your wife and kids, understanding personalities. So we'll get some tools out to you that will help you to ask some questions for your employees. And so understanding how they're wired very differently than you and I are wired will help you to be more effective with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that you have today that you'd like to accomplish, Willis, or questions you have for me?
No, not that I can think of right now. No.
Cool. Did you get the billing from our accounting?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And did you get that into accounting? Is that check going to be sent out?
Uh, I didn't look at that. She was
Okay.
here yesterday, but
Okay.
yeah, she's obviously seen it. Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Well, yeah, she was working on that. So I
Okay.
don't
So,
know.
yeah, if you could just check that, make sure that comes in, that'd be awesome. We'd appreciate it. And you've got my phone number, my direct phone number, right?
I do. The one you called me on this morning.
Yeah, yeah. So you're free
Yes.
to call me anytime. I sometimes, how I have an extra 20 or 30 hours of free time a week.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, there's some days I just don't have anything to do. I'm serious. They laugh
Wow.
like that. Our clients are like that. Can't be true. How do you own 9 businesses and some days you have nothing to do? So I don't know. When I have nothing to do, I just might call you randomly, and I give you permission to say, Mark, I know that you have a lot of free time. I don't. What do you want? Get me on, get me off, so I don't get talking a lot.
Okay.
Anything anything else, sir?
No, yeah, okay. Got a question mark on that one, but okay.
What do you mean?
No, yeah, obviously you got your ducks all marching in a row.
Well, except my 7 kids and my 10 grandkids, those like I don't know where the ducks are. They're all over the place. But no, I have been
Uh,
blessed. A lot of the stuff, most of the stuff, the models and those type of things that you'll see at some point, a lot of those things just come from a lot of pain. And so anything I can do to help young husbands and kids and families and marriage and stuff to improve, anything I can do to help the businesses to where you don't have to figure things out the way I had to figure things out, which is pretty hard at times. It's like, I have 3 degrees in business and none of them taught me really what I needed to know, about business. And so it's like, okay, that doesn't work. Let's try this and this and this and this. So I love helping business owners to go ahead and get their ducks in a row and say, here's the science behind it. And so you and I are going to have a lot of fun together. So appreciate it, Willis. Have a blessed day.
all right, thank you. You too.
All right, we'll see you. Bye bye.